Well, when you go out on your own, it's you.
Right.
But why should it just be you?
Yep.
Have it in corporate. Why should you not have it on your own? It's the same concept. And I love that you bring that up because, again, you don't have to like your coworkers or meet them for a drink after work or hang out with them on weekends, but you're all there for a shared goal.
Hello and welcome to the Chaos to Clarity podcast. My name is Maggie, aka your business bestie. I teach female coaches, speakers, and course creators to release procrastination and perfection so that they can get more done, book more clients, and have the time freedom that all entrepreneurs crave. This is not your typical business coaching podcast. We're talking about business, life, probably some wooey magic, and probably some singing or referencing song lyrics along the way. So if you're into business building, making more money, and getting a little bit of a mindset shift along with having a good laugh, you're definitely in the right place. I've grown 3 businesses from $0 to consistent 4 and 5 figure months over the last 15 plus years. And now I'm helping you do the same thing. It didn't happen overnight, and it certainly didn't happen without the help of others. They say it takes a village to raise children, and I believe it takes a village to grow a business as well. So in this podcast, you'll find people who help you grow your village, cheer you on, as well as holding you accountable. I'm so excited you're here, and I can't wait for you to listen to each episode. Let's dive in. All right, everyone, welcome back to the Chaos to Clarity podcast. Today, I have Mara with me, and I'm going to let her tell you who she is. So, Mara, let us know who you are, what you do, who you serve, and all that good stuff.
I am a business problem solving strategist and a fractional COO, which sounds kind of fancy. But basically, I help established business owners who have built their business to the point of now they're kind of overwhelmed with the daily running of their business, and they find it hard to actually do what it is they started out doing. You know, their awesome sauce, their zone of genius, and they're bogged down with all of the daily stuff. And so I know a lot of coaches promise, like, here, I'll help you eliminate the overwhelm. And there's lots of good tips and tricks. But what I have found is you really have to look at the overall business structure. And so I kind of come in and I help you look at your whole business, your systems, your workflows, your team, your sales, and your marketing. And we kind of look at where the gaps are. What's causing your overwhelm? How can we streamline the back end of your operations? How I can help you find the hidden money. I mean, I've saved people tens of thousands, including one in the 6 figures, just by looking at their operations. So we find the hidden money, we plug all of those holes. And then we can kind of add the pieces that we want to. So you build a solid operational foundation on which to continue growing your business and reach your business vision, your business dreams. So I make all the operations match where you want to go and then help you along the way and help you get there.
That is awesome. I love that so much. So that you know that once you've, done all the work to establish your business and you're at a point where you can hand off things to someone else, that there's someone there to hand them to, right? That there's someone there to come along and say, yep, I've got your back. Like, let me help you. And then let me make sure that it continues to run in the way it's meant to run.
Right. Because I see a lot that are, I've just, you struggle mentally and maybe not consciously sometimes. What are my next steps? Like, how do I have to fix this? And how do I get that? I mean, there's so much mental energy burned just by trying to figure it all out.
Yep.
I've been there. I've been burnt out to the point it affected my health and relationships and all of that stuff. And it's not worth it. And so I got the help, and I'm on a mission to help anyone in that situation, even before you hit burnout, ideally. But if you're there, I'm going to take your hand and I'm going to help walk you through it. And I'm going to take the heavy lifting, the heavy thinking off your plate. But what we're going to do is we're not just going to go out there and go, oh, well, I think that sales strategy, like I'm going to buy their course and I'm going to start this marketing thing and we're going to take a look at the whole picture and we're really going to put into place what you need to put into place, not just kind of hit or miss and, oh, that didn't work. And now I've got to go try this. Like, we don't need to waste time doing that, right?
Right.
When we can just come in and put the right pieces in
Mm-hmm.
strategically without wasting time and wasting money, that's what I want to do for you. Because what I want to see happen is you reach whatever was on your business vision board.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yeah.
all did it, whether it was a physical board or just an idea in your head. Like you have your why,
Mm-hmm.
you have your vision, like the life and the business that you want to create. But then it gets a little rocky trying to get there, right?
Right.
So I'm on a mission to help everyone that I can not make it so rocky, because it
Yeah.
doesn't have to be.
Right. Right. And I think as entrepreneurs and maybe as women, right, we get into this notion that we have to do it all. And because society says we should and can,
Yes.
we then take that on and we're like, no, I should be able to do every single task in my business. And I should be able to still get all the laundry done and raise the kids and be a stay-at-home mom and be this and do that and all these things. And at the end of the day, you sit down on the couch and you're like, oh my gosh, I've gotten nothing done because I'm trying to do it all. Right. So, what an amazing service that you have to help lessen that burden on the business owners so that they can really step into their power and be exactly who they want to be who they're like, again, vision board, their dream, their why, like step into that power.
That's somebody that is my superpower, is
Mm-hmm.
identifying the gaps and making this easier on people. So why not let my superpower help you bring your superpower back out? Like,
Right.
let you have the time to do your superpower.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I'm just on a mission. It makes my heart happy every time I'm able to get, comments back. I had one that said, I can sleep at night now.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
know things are being run. I know they're being done right. Like, I can sleep and I didn't realize I wasn't sleeping.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I mean, how bad is that you're not sleeping? And I see it all the time, but we always think we need to be put together, in our posts and our marketing, and everything is great. And I'm doing all this for my clients and all this for our clients and all this. And I know you're doing great work and I know it's not a lie, but sometimes we need a little help. Like, sometimes it's
Mm-hmm.
not all sunshine and rainbows at the back end. And that's
Right.
okay. It's a business. But if we were more open to reaching out for the right help, you can get to your dream so much quicker by just being a little open and admitting, you need help. Like, you and I were talking the other day, a lot of people say it takes a village to raise a child, which
Right.
is true. We can take a village to make a business successful, and that's
Mm-hmm.
okay. It's
Right.
great. We should all lift each other up and help each other out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I think now in this digital age, right, everything and anything can be on Zoom. We have so many more opportunities to help each other and like
Mhm.
lift each other up, right? And be that support and not let entrepreneurship be this like lonely island. I know like when I was in corporate and then I quit and I left and I, started doing my photography business full time. A month after I had quit, I was like, "Oh, I really miss that camaraderie, that coffee pot talk, right? Like you'd go to get a cup of coffee and somebody else would be there and you'd, be able to have a little chit chat and talk about whatever, right? Didn't matter if it was
Exactly.
about work or about personal, like you could have those interactions. And now after I quit and left, I didn't have that anymore. So it was very lonely. And then the burden of everything was set on my shoulders, right? To be taking the photos, to be posting online, to be doing the blogs, to doing that like the laundry list of things that a business is. And, all of a sudden it was like, this is really hard and I'm really stressed and I don't know who to turn to. So, as we move forward into the future, knowing that there are so many people for you to grow your support team, your village, your tribe, whatever that thing is to you, right? Because I also think that whatever you connect with your support system, I think that is really important to know that that's there for you, and
Yes.
also to take that burden off and to not have that constant running to-do list in your mind, because I know I'm guilty of that, right?
Yes.
You've
It
got
can
this,
be huge some
right?
days.
There's this laundry list of like, I have to remember these 27 things, and I'm also trying to do these other 12 things, and I've got to get everything done, and and then you forget some of it, and then you're mad because you forget, right? And it's cyclical.
Yes.
So to have
Yes.
someone like you come in and say, okay, I'm gonna take this burden, we're gonna make sure that it's running amazingly. Having that opportunity as a business owner to say, yay, here, I'm gonna do what I'm good at, you do what you're good at, and we're all happy. Because at the end of the day, if you're a coach, a speaker, a course creator, right? You're getting more clients, you're getting more speaking gigs, you're creating more courses, and you're not having to worry and have that to-do list of 100 different things that you're like, oh, I can't forget that, I can't forget that either.
Exactly. And I love the point you make that when you left corporate, because I found the same thing leaving corporate, you you don't realize how much you miss that camaraderie. Like, you don't even necessarily have to like all of your coworkers,
Right.
but in the end, there are coworkers. There are
Mm-hmm.
other people there, all doing the same thing of trying to achieve their job. And there may be other people that you rely on to go, hey, I've got this that I'm working on. I need this piece done. Can you help me with this piece? And it's you work together,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Yep.
Well, when you go out on your own, it's you.
Right.
But why should it just be you?
Right. Yep.
Have it in corporate. Why should you not have it on your own? It's the same concept. And I love that you bring that up, because again, you don't have to like your coworkers or meet them for a drink after work or hang out with them on weekends, but you're all there for a shared goal, and there's people that you can pull on
Mm-hmm.
to help you accomplish things. So
Right.
apply that same thing in your own business. And
Mm-hmm.
I kind of can stay on board with some of my clients. Like, we've put the big things in place, and they're like, can I just call on you in the future?
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
if I've got questions, like, can I just give you a call?
Mm-hmm.
Then they don't have to think about it.
Right.
They can just call and say, hey, I've got this going on and it's frustrating, like this happened. Because it's always going to happen. There's always going to be things that come up.
Yep.
And so I offer a way to people, they just have access to just call me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that's so cool too, right? Like knowing that there is that service out there for that point in business where you're like, oh, shoot, things are kind of falling off the rails. I need some
Yes.
help, right? And to know that that despite what everybody says online, right? Because social media is your highlights reel. It's supposed to look like butterflies and rainbows, and it's
Mhm.
probably not. I promise you, behind every business owner, there is some sort of stress. I can promise you that
Exactly.
no matter what level of income they are at, right? Like the same stress that you're feeling when you're like, I just want to make that first sale is just as bad for the person who's like, oh my God, I hit 100,000. Now I have to hit 102,000, right? Like, or a million or whatever, right? Like there are always those stresses. And I would even argue that the more money you make, the more those stressors happen, right? Because now they're amplified because you've probably added to
Exactly.
your team and so on and so forth, but they don't have to stay there, right? Like it's your choice to be like, okay, I'm feeling really frustrated. I think I need some help. And if you think about, like CEO versus employee, right? I did a post on this a couple weeks ago where we're trained to be employees. We're not trained to be CEOs. And,
Exactly.
like a CEO, if they're seeing a problem, they're like, okay, I'm having this headache. I'm going to go call this person because I know they know how to fix it and they can fix it faster than I can.
Right.
So to have someone there that has your back where you can pick up the phone and say, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. Can you help me? Where do I go next? Right. Like
Right.
a good coach can help with that, but also the services that you offer can also help with that, right? Like you can say, yep, let me take this from you. We'll get it cleaned up and fixed up and we'll get you back on the road. And then,
Exactly.
if you're a coach or you have a coach, that coach can then say to you, all right, good. Like, what are you going to do to learn and move forward from this? How are you going to move forward? What does this mean for you? Right.
Exactly.
So I think when you combine all of those things, it just makes a business so much stronger, whether you're a sole proprietor or whether you have a huge team under you, right? It amplifies that strength.
Well, and you think about it, all of your big companies, your Walmarts, your Amazons, all your banks, everyone, they all have COOs. And
Yep.
most people don't pay attention to what in the world that is or why they're important. You know what a CFO is, they run the money.
Right.
You
Yep.
know what a CEO is, they run the entire business. You might
Mm-hmm.
even know what a CMO is, they run all the marketing. Like that's super important, right? But what the hell is a COO over here? And what do they
Right.
do? Well, guess what? They're the person that makes the rest of it work.
Mm-hmm.
You can have
Mm-hmm.
great marketing strategies. You can have great sales strategies.
Right.
You're not going to mean a whole lot if you don't have the operations to support them.
Right.
And so that's where I come in to help you build that solid foundation in order to catapult to that growth even quicker. And
Mm-hmm.
then we add on top of that the exact sales strategy you need to bring in, the exact marketing strategies that you need to bring in, but we fix your foundation first.
Right. Right.
It's not going to happen like you want it to happen.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have that solid and have a plan for keeping that solid in the future. So
Right.
I hit all of those areas of business, and everyone that I've helped has found they're like, oh my God, this is so much easier.
Mm-hmm.
I can focus on things so much better. I know things are being done, but I guarantee you that 7-figure coach that you've been following, and you're like, I want her life. She's at the beach. She looks
Mm-hmm.
like she works 10 hours a week, or she's telling you on social media she works 10 hours a week. I want her life. Like, why the hell can't I have that? But you can, because I
Right.
guarantee you, she has worked to put the right foundation in place. She has the right team, the right people in the right places, the right workflows, the right systems. And usually at that point, people's eyes glaze over.
Right.
Well, how
Yep.
the hell do I put that in place? I don't know how to do that.
Right.
It's all right. It's okay.
Mm-hmm.
You have your zone of genius. And I want you to be able to return to that. You should be able to return to that.
Right.
And so, yeah, from big business to smaller business, if you see them extremely successful like that, that's their common thread.
Right. Oh,
They've
absolutely.
got that foundation.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, totally. And it's so interesting to hear you talk about that because I help a lot of clients build those foundations on a smaller scale, right? When they're in those first few years of business and they're like, yeah, but I can't afford a COO, right? Like,
Right.
LOL, I can't afford that. So how do I do it
Right.
on my own, right? That's part of my zone of genius is to say, okay, yeah, you've got those big, huge goals. And someday you want to bring someone like you on. Well, I'm going to help you learn how to set things up on a much smaller scale, manageable for you, right? And then when you're ready to grow, then you can step into that next level of saying, okay, I have a solid foundation. I know what all my stuff is. I know how it runs. And now I can hand it off to someone like you and say, okay, I'm ready to go and let's amp this up and let's really grow, which I think is such a cool thing to know that like, as I'm taking clients in and they're like, okay, yeah, but I'm ready for the next level, right? Like I can say, I've got a friend and here she is, like what a cool connection that I can make, like
And I love that you serve those that are more starting out because, quite frankly, I would love that people avoid meeting me.
right, right.
I
Yeah,
mean, now granted, most, even if they set it up right from the beginning, there's still a level of my services you're still going to need because you get to a certain point, there's just too many options and too many things to think about.
right,
But I believe that if more people understood and can get the help to set these things up better from the beginning, doesn't mean you have to invest a lot of money
right,
in them. you've got tons of tricks up your sleeves for like free options and
Mm-hmm.
how to streamline things like very, very economically.
Right.
And I think that's so important for anyone to get that help,
Yes.
because most people are, I've got to get sales.
Right.
I've got to market right. I've got to post on social media, and it's all great. And then in the background, you're going, oh my God, now I need a system to help with this. And then I can't keep track of all these people and these clients and who I follow up with. Well, that's where your systems come into place. That's where your workflows come into place. And setting that up from the beginning so you're not flying by the seat of your pants on a
Mm-hmm.
daily basis is absolutely invaluable.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
Mhm.
And, once you set those things up, you can start to step into those 5-hour work days, 4-hour work days, right? Those 10-hour work weeks where you're like, how is she taking another trip to the beach? Doesn't she work at all? I
Right.
don't understand, right? Like, but you still want that life of like, I want that opportunity, and really taking the time to set some of those foundations. And trust me, I know it's boring and it's not always fun, but like once you set them up
Right.
on a small scale, it's so much easier to build on that small scale because you already know you have those foundations, and now you're like, okay, I've laid the first row of bricks, and now I'm ready for the mortar so that I can step up to the next level, and then the next and the next. And I think sometimes in a lot of the coaching programs, at least the coaching, like how to become a coach, right? How to like learn how to be a
Right.
coach. I think a lot of those programs, yes, they're teaching you invaluable information on how to connect with people, on how to go about having a sales call or a coaching call, and that's all great. But that doesn't solve the foundation of like, okay, I need probably some freebies so that I can entice people to like want to understand the value that I can give you. I want to build on this stuff. And that's really where I come in, is like, you've taken the training, you've started this business, and now you're like, now what do I do? I'm posting a lot, and I'm posting all over the place, and I'm kind of not hearing anything. And I kind of don't like, this isn't working for me. Now what?
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to be able to put in, a good sales strategy and a good marketing strategy, and it can be just incredibly overwhelming with
Right.
all of the different ways to do it, how you do it. Oh, well, you got to show up here all the time, or you got to talk in here all the time. It's exhausting,
Right.
just the options. And when you're first starting out, it's even worse sorting through that because you haven't sorted through what things have worked for you, like
Right.
what you do and how you do it best. You haven't sorted through all of that. So having
Mhm.
someone to lean on to go, okay, so I've put this in place. So what I'm being told I need to put into place.
Mhm.
So why isn't it working? And you can help sort through, maybe that's not the right strategy for you.
Right.
Like maybe you need to go here. Maybe you need to do some work on your ideal client. Maybe you need to work the basics
Mhm.
of getting started. It- you know, Anyone going into it, you're not born knowing how to
Right.
run a business,
Yep.
but you have an instinct, you have a gut feel of what's going to be comfortable to you and what's going to work. But having someone like you to help sort through all of that,
Mhm.
just all of the things, because
Right.
you see this course, this sales course, and this marketing strategy, and you can waste more money trying to do that in all these different courses than you could just working with one person to say, okay, but what's going to work for me? Like, I'm tired of looking at all these options. This is my
Right.
budget. I don't have a lot. Like, what's going to work for me and get me those results? And
Mhm.
it's if you actually added up the money, you $20 here, $40 here, $60 here for those little things, and then you can't put them in place for yourself or customize them, you've probably wasted more money than you would just working with someone like you.
Right. Oh,
And same thing once you're
totally.
established. Yeah, same thing once you're established and you've been in it for a while. You may know what has worked, but maybe you hit a plateau.
Mhm.
You're so overwhelmed, you can't concentrate on all of these other things. But what works what has worked for you to get you here is not going to work to get you there.
Right. Yes.
And so you need to do the same process to revisit everything and what is right for me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's usually where I come in.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, for
it's
sure.
needed at every level. And I know a lot of startup folks don't always understand, why do I need to focus on that? Well, you want to
Mm-hmm.
get where you want to go, you need to focus on it.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Not all aspects of business are going to be pretty shiny butterflies. I mean, that's something that they don't advertise when you go into business, right? Like you see all those people and they're like, oh, living this amazing life, but you also don't see the startup that, I mean, I've been in business for 15 years and I would argue that, like you could probably still consider my photography business a startup business, right? I'm still learning about that. I'm still in that, like, I'm always learning. So I think, once you step into that, like, you start to question, like, well, what is right for me? Having someone like me be there at the beginning stages to say, okay, let's explore that. And then as you move up the ladder to then step into your services and say, okay, I know this is where I'm going and this is what I need help with, like that makes your job so much easier.
Exactly. There's so many pieces that go into it, and kind of having that person to look at all of it and sort through all the noise and then match make, so to speak.
Yep.
This is for you. This is for you. This is for you. Get it in place and
Right.
go,
Yeah.
and run with it.
Yeah.
Um, it's incredibly invaluable. And I'm really on a mission to try to help people understand why that actually saves you money.
Right.
Believe it or not,
Yep.
saves you a whole lot of money doing it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. So tell me what is something challenging that you have overcome in your business as your entrepreneur journey has gone on?
So I've been an entrepreneur in different aspects for about 15 years. And what made me really stop and think and was the most challenging was hitting burnout. I mean, I hit 100% stereotypical burnout.
Mm-hmm.
Crying on the floor at 11 o'clock at night, curled up in the fetal position. Um, I should have been very happy with where I was at. I mean, I
Mm-hmm.
grew to six figures in 6 months. I mean, it's like success that people are like, oh my God, that's amazing. You should be ecstatic. I'm like, yeah, I don't have time to even enjoy it.
Uh-huh.
And I get true burnout. And people that have been in true burnout know what I'm talking about.
Oh
And
my
I
gosh.
would
Yes.
never recommend it to anyone. Like, I don't want anyone to ever go through that. You're mentally dead at a
Mm-hmm.
certain point. There is no energy to think through whether you put deodorant on that morning. I
Right.
mean, it can be to that point. You can't show up for your friends and family. It affects your relationships. I didn't see my friends hardly for 3, 4 years. They
Mm-hmm.
knew where I was,
Right.
but I couldn't connect with them. Relationships suffered, my
Mm-hmm.
business suffered.
Right.
And so getting through burnout and getting the help in place that you need, just finally being able to admit, I have been there. I've been stubborn. I'm like, I'm good. I got this shit figured out.
Yep. Yep.
I'm good.
Yep. I don't need
I can
help.
streamline it back into a business like a pro. And clearly, I've got sales and marketing that are working. I
Uh-huh.
am good.
Right.
Yep, I'm not good,
Mm-hmm.
because you should never feel like that.
Right.
So, yeah, I had to reach out for the right help. And I finally figured out what that right help was, and worked through the mental issues, the physical issues. I mean, it caused me all kinds of health issues. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I've had to, my tribe and my people include, the medical help
Mm-hmm.
and mental health to work
Mm-hmm.
through everything so I can be back on my game and I can be me again.
Right.
So being willing to accept that help, hopefully before you get to that point.
Yes.
Um, but if you are in that point, you just need to put a hand up.
Mm-hmm. Right. And there are
You don't
so
need to
many
flounder.
people. Right. There are so many people that when you do put that hand up and when you like raise that white flag and you're like, I just need something. There are so many people out there that are willing to like say, okay, all right, I'm here for you. And I know for me, when I raised that flag, the thing I was worried about was like, yeah, but how much is it going to cost me? Right. Because
Exactly.
you're an entrepreneur and you're like, well, I have to pay my own bills and
Right.
I don't have a steady job, a steady paycheck or whatever that is, right? And so that burden was, I think, at least for me, that's what held me back from raising the white flag and saying, okay, I need help.
Right.
And I think a lot of times when you're in that position and you raise the flag, there are so many people that are willing to help and
Mhm.
not attach a dollar sign to it, right? And help in a
Exactly.
way that's like, okay, let's get creative and resourceful. What can you do right now? And we're going to figure out right now. And then we're going to take one step forward. We're going to figure that out, right? And like help you navigate that. And that,
And what's so, yeah, and it's hard because I've been there too. I'm like, well, great, I'm making money, but I still don't want to. I mean, how much is this going to cost me all?
right.
But in the end, it cost me a hell of a lot more
Mm-hmm.
in doctor bills,
Yes.
um, therapist bills, um, putting everything else into place in my business,
Yep.
figuring out all that. It cost me about 4 times what it have cost me to hire that person.
Right. Right.
So, but you're right. There are a ton of people, and I had people help. They don't attach a dollar amount to it.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but when you need to get out of that fast and in a hurry, it's hard to look past the dollar amount. But the cost of not doing it, chances are your business has hit a plateau because you're not able to be there for it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're not going to make the money if you don't take care of yourself and
Right.
return to your best self. That's when the sales are going to come. And so if
Mm-hmm.
you look at the costs it is costing you to not get help, uh yeah, it's
Mm-hmm.
huge. I
It
hate
is.
it.
Yeah.
you,
Oh,
you don't
same.
you don't want to pay it, and
No.
no one, but it's a hard hurdle to get over. But there are a lot of people just out there just willing to take your hand and pull you up
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And I feel like
and
this is
say it's okay.
something I could definitely talk all about this, right? I feel like there's
Exactly.
definitely a point in business where, like I think every business owner hits that point of burnout and in some degree. And I know I am with you where it's like, yep, I hit that burnout and it cost me a lot of time, like, right? Like time is money, money is time, whatever you want to call it, right? Like cost me a lot. Doctor, right? Like therapist, doctor, all the things, accountant, right? Like there was a time where I'm like, I don't even know. I can't tell up from down. How do I get out of this?
Yeah.
And I was lucky that I did find a couple people who were willing to take my hand and not, and say like, I'm here for you. And not like attach a dollar sign after that, right? Like, and I feel very lucky for that. And that's part of why, I have stepped into that realm of like, I want to support the people who are in that 0 to under 100,000 mark, right? Because those are crucial years. Those are crucial times when it's like, okay, let's set this up in a way where you are not struggling and trying to overwork yourself.
Yeah, no, that's it, and it's huge, and I mean, those people are important too. They have a mission.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to wait until you hit
Right.
6 figures, mid 6 figures, or 7 figures to get help.
Right.
There are people that can help you set things up like you,
Mm-hmm.
so you don't hit the overwhelm stage and maybe you get to the next level of your business and you're like, oh, okay, well, it had it's rocky moments. I mean, every business is going to,
Yep.
but yeah, what she helped me put in place, if you do some reflecting, like you will realize exactly how invaluable that is. That I may still worked my butt off, but I'm still building the life that I like. Like it
Mm,
was not overwhelming. I still spent time with my family and friends. Like not, it hasn't suffered, but
right.
now I'm to the next level, and I
Mhm.
got there faster because she helped me put that stuff in.
Right. Right. Exactly. Yes. So, what is one piece of advice that you would tell your younger business self?
Oh my. Oh my. Do we have enough time for that?
I know some
uh,
of these questions could be like hour long,
oh goodness
podcast by
gracious, yeah,
themselves.
they could. They're so in depth, and there's so much to go into that. I honestly would say, get help and stop trying to figure it all out myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I still have to tell myself that on a daily basis. In fact,
Yeah.
I have someone for me
Mm-hmm.
that does what I
Yeah. Yeah.
because I'm too close to my business to do it myself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, every good coach, every good business owner has that mentor and support, and they have their tribe in
Mm-hmm.
place. And it doesn't make you less of a person. It doesn't make you less of a business owner. You have to get that. If you want to reach your goals quicker,
Mm-hmm.
do it.
Yep.
Absolutely do it.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I 100% second that. Yes. Yeah. I mean, and not just because I'm a coach, but like, yes, I'm a coach, but I also have a coach, right? Like, I have someone who I go to and who I can talk to. And, yes, of course, I have my spouse, I have my husband, but he doesn't, he works in corporate. He's not ever owned a business, which is not a bad thing. And I can still talk to him as like a third party who knows nothing, but also like doesn't like get it, right? Like doesn't get it on the level that it's like, okay, I need help and I need you to help me talk through this. And he's like, well, why don't you just whatever, blah, 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 and I know
Yeah.
it's coming from that place of love and support and yes, but also like knowing that I have someone who's a coach who knows, what I've been through, who has walked the walk herself. Knowing that I have that and have that support is so helpful. And just, it's really priceless for,
Does it give you that peace of mind? Like it gives me
yes.
that peace of mind that, I am that for other people and I want
Mm-hmm.
to be that for other people. Like you call me and go, great, we put all this into place. A lot of it is retainer services with people that have already worked with me so they know what it's like. And they're like, I need to keep you at arm's length.
Right.
But being able to call them, message them, email them and go, I just had this situation come up.
Mm-hmm.
And before I start to overthink it and
Yes.
spiral down where I would normally spiral down and spend days and weeks and lose sleep and do whatever, what do you suggest? Like,
Mm-hmm.
let's talk through it with you.
Yep. Yep.
Can I just get that advice? And you have to find those people, like you said, that have walked that walk. I have one. You
Mm-hmm.
have one.
Mm-hmm.
You have to, I don't care if you're a coach, like you said, whatever business you're in, you find that person, whether it is a coach or a fellow business owner that you can collaborate with or help each other out. Find that person that you can call. I
Right.
talk to my husband too, and
Yep.
he's also corporate and
Yeah.
he gets a lot of, but
Yes.
they're men and they detach emotion out of it, which sometimes is huge to help
Yes.
me take my emotion out of things. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes I need to keep my emotion in it.
Right.
That's part of what drives me with what I do. And
Mm-hmm.
so I 100% agree with what you said. Finding that person, just I can't put a price on it because
Right.
I don't sit there and sleep. I don't sit there. I immediately reach out, I talk it through, make a decision, and I move on.
Right.
Like there's no wondering anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Done.
Yep.
Let's move on. Let's
Right.
put it into place. fix it, whatever it takes, and I'm done and I'm moving on.
Right.
So,
And that I think helps you navigate through not going into that burnout, because right when you sit and you stew and you think and you spiral and all of a sudden it's been 2 weeks and you're like, man, I've been really angry about this one little thing that I probably could have just called up so and so and talked it through, and I would not have had to do this, right? And I think that is so important.
Yes, I 100% agree with that one.
Cool. Awesome. Well, my last question of the episode today is my favorite. If you were a kitchen utensil or gadget, what would you be and why?
Oh, so I'm an out of the box thinker. So I think of everything in a kitchen,
Uh-huh.
not just a kitchen gadget. I'm the organizer in your kitchen drawer.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. I like that.
I am the organizer in your kitchen drawer. I put all the utensils where they're supposed to go and keep them organized. Like that's me. That is 100% me. So yeah, I think out of the box a little bit. I help all the gadgets.
Yeah, I think that's, that's so important, because I think about like that gadget drawer and I'm like, there is an organizer in there, but it is a mess.
Exactly.
I mean, I have a 5-year-old, so when she helps, right, she can kind of see in there, but it's more of like could you put these away and be a big help for mommy? Yeah, sure. And close the door. Sure. Which is good and awesome, but also, go to open that drawer and it's like, oh, let's rearrange things in here, and they all have a place. So I think that's so cool. That's so awesome.
No, yeah, I think outside the box a lot. I don't just give straight answers.
Right. Well, we need that, right? Like everybody needs that like creative hub of like that to spark that interest of like that other thought that maybe you hadn't thought about, right? Or maybe you hadn't really considered. So I think that's so awesome. So cool. Awesome. Well, Mara, thank you so much for being on my podcast today. It's been such a pleasure to talk with you. And tell everyone how they can get in touch with you. Everything will be in the show notes. But definitely tell them how they can connect with you. How they can connect with you.
Yeah, if you check out my website, whitenerpros.com, again, it'll be in the comments she'll provide. You can click a link in there and book a quick call with me. It's free, it's no obligation, it's 30 minutes. Just let me know what you got going on. I'm going to tell you if I can help you, or I will send you the right direction where I think you need to go. I have a huge network of folks I can kind of lead you to. So even if I'm not the right one, so let's get on and chat. Let's see what you've got going on. I'm here to help, whether it's me or someone else. But connect with me on LinkedIn. It's Mara Whitener on LinkedIn, or you can check out my Facebook page. It's Whitener Professional Services.
Perfect. Awesome. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day, and I can't wait to have you back on. Wow, what a great interview. Thank you so much for showing up here on the Chaos to Clarity podcast. Again, my name is Maggie. I'm so excited to connect with you. You can find all of the information, all of the links below in the show notes for today's interview. And I hope you have the best day ever.